Yeah, yeah. RP Mike Jack. All right, anyways. Let me chill. All right, today we is reacting to the kids who ran a private school drug ring. I don't know, gang. It's like it's a show like this on Netflix. What is it called? It was a nigga in England. Telling how to sell drugs online fast. That show is media, gang. It's literally, I'm gonna spoil it without spoiling it. It's literally about a nigga who starts selling drugs because his ex girlfriend start. Well, his girlfriend, Brody has a girlfriend. She moves to the USA. While she's in the USA, the USA, she gets she starts doing drugs, right? So she comes back and keeps doing the drugs. And once he finds out she's doing drugs, she also broke up with him when she got back. So he thinks she broke up with him because he doesn't do drugs. So he starts selling and doing drugs. And that's the whole show. And then the rest of the show is everything behind it. I feel like you should go watch. It's a very good show. I finished the first 3 seasons in one night. Merch. I swear to God. I can merch, gang. I started watching that show. What 5 p.m. that evening, and then I finished it before before I went to bed, and I didn't go to bed. I went to bed before it was time for me to go up. So I went to bed around like 4 o'clock. I gotta wake up at 6 to go to school. Right, 5 if I want to get in a good shower. If I want to get the good shower, 5. If I just want a good shower, I can wake up at 6.
In 2013, two kids named Timothy Brooks and Neil Scott had dreams of becoming drug kingpins.
These niggas, especially this nigga. This nigga don't look like he could move his. This nigga look like he actually know how to move some weight. Right? This nigga look like he don't know what he doing.
They both had recently graduated from Haverford High School, a prestigious $35,000 a year private school located
Niggas paying college money to go to high school with a jump the fuck out.
in the suburbs of Philadelphia, with alums including Olympic athletes, award-winning actors, and more. It was one of the finest academic institutions in the country, and these two guys wanted to control every single drug being sold there. Through strategic planning,
Yeah, so like they was really just high school drug lords. It's so, especially high schools like that. Merch. I don't care what nobody says. Private schools have a bigger drug problem than public schools. Well, not a bigger drug problem, but they definitely do have a drug problem too. Do not think just because private schools you have to pay. No, gang. Private schools definitely are sometimes even case worse with drug problems, gang. Because literally a bunch of niggas with money, gang. It's literally a bunch of niggas with money. So they have better, harder, stronger drugs, gang. They have a harder drug problem. Definitely these. Like at my school, this nigga do a drug running game. The max the nigga moving is what? Some pins and some Zabal. These niggas was probably moving that white girl, you feel me? And I'm like, wow.
greed, and threats, the duo grew their operation from a small-time hustle into a full-blown drug.
Hey, out of these four niggas, who's snitching first? Merch. Out of these four niggas, who's snitching first? These look like teachers. These like teachers. These are students. These like teachers. Especially this nigga. This nigga. Especially, hold on, wait. This is the only one that looks like a high school student. Maybe Shorty, she look like a junior. But this nigga, especially this nigga, they look out of it. Over it.
Recruiting numerous high schoolers and college students to push their product. But their efforts didn't end at Haverford. They set their sights on dominating the entire Philadelphia suburban drug market, targeting numerous local high schools and colleges in the process. But as their ambitions grew, so did the risks that eventually spiraled into one of the most shocking drug busts in private school history. The township of Haverford is a tranquil one, to say the least, with a population population of just over 6,500 engulfed in its tree-lined streets, well-maintained lawns, and family-friendly atmosphere, most would consider it the perfect place to raise a family. But this safe, idealistic neighborhood doesn't come without a cost. The average annual income of a household in Haverford is over 266 grand.
So you gotta be making money.
Pair that with an average home price of around $1.2 million, and it's clear that every kid in this neighborhood has a cocaine addiction. Okay, that's a joke, but the families that live here are pretty above average in terms of wealth, which makes it the perfect place for an institution like
Merch, gay. That's not even wild to say, gay. Literally, it's really known for kids, like especially teenagers who have access to a lot of money to be, to be addicted to drugs, especially cocaine, because it's an expensive drug, and you literally have, and those like not to be racist or anything, but like white boys getting like rich white boys getting them niggas. I know at the parties getting, I like know at the parties they be having what that white girl they be having that some P's, right, all that. You know they got it all over there, gang. And I would love to go to a party like that. Merge. What I do to white girl? Probably not. I probably do like what some ecstasy. But what I do, cocaine. No, that's wild.
Haverford High School. This prestigious all-boys prep school is known as one of the finest high schools in the country and has produced all-star humans like gold medal Olympians, MLB players, actors, singers, Super Bowl champions, congressmen, Ivy
Who is this? Who are these niggas? I haven't seen none of these niggas. These niggas are, who are these?
League professors, and more. It's highly regarded by families within the township as it boasts a strong sense of local pride, active community involvement, and excellent schooling. Hence the price tag of $35,000 a year. And don't get me wrong, that's a shitload of money for just high school, but it seemed to be worth it for these parents, and especially their kids. One graduate claimed it was an absolutely incredible school to the point where it was perfect. A statement that a kid named Neil Scott would agree with. Despite this story taking place in the lavish Haverford Township, Neil actually grew up in a modest one-story home in Paoli, Pennsylvania, about a 19-minute drive from Haverford. His father, who was a carpenter,
okay. So he was trapping it. Oh, boy, okay. He was getting it in his city and then getting it in.
Sent him to Conestoga High School, a way less expensive but very respectable high school. Here, he played lacrosse and was pretty good at it. So good, in fact, that Haverford recruited him on scholarship his
that's how he got there. Wow.
junior year to play goalie for them. He started playing lacrosse and water polo while, of course, also receiving all the benefits of his new prestigious institution. To most of his classmates, he seemed like a typical high schooler, a funny, sarcastic kid who enjoyed the occasional toke and solo cup party. But after he graduated in 2008, something changed in him. Whether it was the
I wasn't even born yet.
Pressures of adult life creeping up on him, something going on at home, or whatever else, Neil was starting to become a different person. He attended Connecticut College fresh out of high school, and as you could have guessed, played lacrosse for them. But it seemed like he deteriorated from the all-star goalie he used to be. His teammates described him as a mediocre athlete at best, some even going as far as labeling him terrible. He would also get pissed off abnormally often. I remember him getting heated, like if you fucked with him or whatever, he would kind of snap. Neil stopped playing lacrosse after a single season and quickly engulfed himself in the typical college life of partying, smoking copious amounts of weed, and making fake IDs. Okay, you probably didn't make fake IDs in college, but if you did, thank you for your service. But Neil making fake IDs got him kicked.
Like, it's still a thing. I'm gonna go to college. I need one for a friend. Me and my friend are gonna go to college. I need one for a friend. No, I don't need one. I need one for a friend. So, you make these Hit my lawn, trust.
Kicked out of school after just 3 semesters of attending, and he was left with nothing to do. With no concrete plan in mind, he moved to San Diego and stayed in a bungalow on a beach to flee the drugs and trouble back home. Smart move to move to California when you're trying to get away from drugs. But thankfully, one of his old Haverford lacrosse coaches was able to get him a coaching job at the LAX West lacrosse program. He worked there for a little bit while also holding a job at a medical marijuana dispensary. So much for
Bro, merge. If you getting your shit from the dispensaries, you smoking move. Nigga, that shit don't get you shit. Bro, merge, game merge. Merge, that's all I don't even, bro, cause literally it's legal weed game. Legal weed won't get you shit. It depends on where you are though. Like, see me, my shit, or my state, it's illegal. So, hell yeah, they gonna make the weed that's already booth more booth just because it's already illegal in this city. I mean, in this state, but plus it's not even Zol. It's CBD. CBD and Zabal is 2 different things. Merch. That's not THC. That is CBD. And CBD is booth. THC. Trash.
Staying away from drugs before moving to another coaching position, this time at a youth program. But like his college career, that didn't last long either. Only 2 months into the position, he cursed at a 10-year-old child, revealing his anger issues had stayed with him from college. After being fired, he once again fell into his old routine of being a druggie, but this time with harder drugs like Xanax and other prescription pills. His boss at the youth program said it best. He started losing grip with reality. With seemingly all hope lost, Neil moved back to Philadelphia with absolutely no clue what his future held. Well, except for one idea. When he returned home by late fall of 2013, with no cash in his pockets, he hit up an old Haverford teammate, a guy named Stocky Euler, and pitched a genius money-making idea. Yo Stocky, it's Neil from Hford. Just got back from Cali, got a bunch of greens. Know anyone around Philly who might be interests? Ha ha ha, yo brother, how are you? Like, weight? Doing pretty well, man. Yeah, got a lot of weight. Constant supply.
Why are we even texting these type of messages? I got a bunch of greens, yo. You know anyone in Philly who might be interested? Yeah, better weight. Yeah, a lot of weight. Constant, bro. As soon as they see a lot of weight and constant supply, nigga, you're grits. They already know what you mean.
Great numbers. So yeah, Neil's fantastic idea was to deal drugs. However, Stocky wasn't going to be Neil's partner in all of this. A kid named Timothy Brooks was. Timothy had a very different upbringing than Neil, and by different, I mean he was way more low.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if he grew up poor, then the other nigga grew up rich. merch. Plans like this, with like 2, like shit like this, is always that one broke nigga who trying to get it up, right? He trying to run it up, and then the rich nigga who has the money to help him run it up.
He grew up in Villanova, Pennsylvania, where there are wide, leafy streets, houses far enough apart to where you don't have to talk to your neighbors, and an average household income of over $400,000. His father, who was an executive at a local.
Why is Pennsylvania so expensive to live in, bro? Nigga, what? Why for your city? I gotta live. Why averagely in your city? I gotta be making about $500,000 to stay in your city. What the fuck?
HR firm had more than enough means to afford Haverford High School for his son, and it's safe to say his son enjoyed it thoroughly. Timothy was your typical cool kid type of guy at Haverford. He was the captain of the lacrosse team, played squash and golf on the side, and was super successful in anything he did. And to top off the persona, he hated school. If someone ever decides to write like Shakespeare again, they should be beat up. His gifted athletic abilities landed him a lacrosse scholarship at the University of Richmond, a school he claimed was everything he wanted. The school has a great academic reputation, is in a perfect region, and the campus is awesome. Life was perfect for Timothy. But less than a month into his freshman year at college, disaster struck. Like Neil, Timothy had to drop out of school almost as quickly as he got there, but not for the same reason. He sustained a terrible shoulder injury, an injury so bad that it required serious surgery.
And damn, he got into into this shit because he had fucked up his life. Wow. He fucked up his shoulder and he couldn't go do sports no more, so he became a drug lord. Wow.
And him to drop out of Richmond. This was a devastating blow to Timothy. Lacrosse was his identity, and he was so talented at the sport. But this career-ending injury put him in a dark place. A place where he thought that dealing drugs with Neil was a fantastic idea. While sitting in his childhood bedroom, bored out of his mind, Timothy was desperate to earn some money to get out on his own. Even though he smoked in high school, he had never dealt drugs or shown interest in it at all. But him not having lacrosse anymore threw all logic out the window. It's not clear how Neil and Timothy got in contact. Maybe Neil hit up Timothy in the same way he did Stocky. But regardless of how they reconnected, they started to formulate a plan around the fall of 2013 to push some serious amounts of product. And I mean it when I say serious. Neil and Timothy weren't going to be the stereotypical college dropouts who slung dime bags to 16-year-olds. No, they wanted to control the entire drug market within the Philadelphia suburbs, including all high schools and colleges. Timothy texted Scott, "Every nug on the main line is about to come from you and me. We will crush it. Once you go tax-free, it's hard to go back." The main line Timothy was talking about was the Philadelphia Main Line, a collection of 17 wealthy towns just west of Philadelphia that included Haverford and Villanova. Timothy named their newfound operation the Main Line Takeover Project, solidifying their ambition of becoming drug kingpins for the wealthy.
This is smart ideas though, gang. Hold on, these niggas not dumb. They not serving to your average junkie, gang. They serving literally, gang. This is what they doing. Pure example, gang. They're the old white nigga from Snowfall, gang. He don't sell to kids, gang. He sell to niggas with money. They're trying to sell the good drugs to the niggas with the good money. Not no broke ass nigga. Hey, twin, I'll hit you back when I got $5. Come from me. No. Them niggas that give you a tip for driving, pushing up on us. That's the niggas they want to serve. That's the niggas they are.
But to have an operation this big, you need to have some sort of concrete plan. The duo knew this and started to plan out what the operation would look like, starting with defining their home base. They landed on using Neil's apartment, a cramped one-bedroom place on the second floor of a flimsy-looking rental house less than 900 feet from Haverford. It seemed like an okay spot, especially considering no one would ever go near it because it was, quote, covered in like 500 dog turds, according to his neighbors. This is where pounds of weed from California would be shipped, thanks to Neil's connections, which he made from working in the dispensary. The duo would take this weed and repackage it for distribution while also dealing within the apartment, which was probably pretty clutch for Haverford students. I mean, they could literally stroll out of 7th period and be less than 3 football fields away from snagging some bud. But okay, the base of operations was set in stone. But how are they going to take over the main line's drug supply? It's not like they had any connections to the drug dealing world, so what would they do? Well, they utilized the only connections they had left. The Haverford lacrosse team. You see, the elite school's lacrosse program was a tight-knit group. The powerhouse team thought of themselves as elite and had their own culture. A culture that was bound together by recreational drug use. A Haverford grad said, if you took one sport and said which one parties the most, it's the lacrosse guys. And the duo planned on fully utilizing that aspect of their bond to get their old teammates to deal drugs for them. Timothy and Neil's plan had them jittering with excitement. I mean, they both had similar stories.
So, if they both was lacrosse players and like lacrosse guys, I guess, are like the ones that really party. They just have a bunch of them coming.
Great high school life, a dark turn post-graduation, and now a need for a sense of accomplishment. They had the motivation to accomplish something, but after they lost what they loved doing, they didn't know what that something.
You can have somebody who's well known, and that's good because then they can get your product off easier. But also, you have somebody who's well known, so they're easier to get caught, and you can get fucked up easier.
Thing could be. But now they did. According to an ex-coach from Haverford, most alumni go on to become great fathers and husbands and give back to the prep school in the form of money or time. But instead of those things, the duo was going to give back drugs. In October 2013, Neil and Timothy officially began the Mainline Takeover Project and got off to a decent start. Neil successfully recruited 2 lacrosse friends right off the bat, a 23-year-old named Chester Simmons and, as we saw before, a 23-year-old named Stocky Euler. Timothy, on the other hand, brought in an 18-year-old senior at Haverford named Dan McGrath. a guy Timothy described as a highly motivated poor kid. Just convinced
That nigga knew he was gonna do it because he's broke. Wow. He knew he was gonna say yes because he's broke.
my Haverford guy to build his empire and stop Gramps. Sounds good to me, like those kinds of kids. But of course, these kids weren't the only ones dealing. Neil and Timothy were putting in equal, if not more effort to push product.
Hands on, nigga. I ain't playing with you, boy. Like this motherfucking video if I hit your ass up with this motherfucking Drake, nigga. I ain't playing with you, nigga. You heard, boy? Like this motherfucking video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to see when I post a new video, nigga. Have a good day. Fake buzz.
And the kids that came by home base to cop knew they weren't fucking around. One kid who bought from them remembered climbing up the creaky wooden staircase of Neil's apartment and entering his living room to see the ounce of weed he was buying next to a 9mm handgun. He had his guns out in plain view, the guy recalls. White kids see a gun, myself included, and they're not going to cause a problem. Now personally, I wouldn't be the type of guy to keep buying drugs from a crackhead looking fella with a gun, but this threatening aura seemed to work.
This nigga dumb is so who you buying drugs from? Them the best merch. That's how you know you getting good product. What is he talking about? This nigga said he wouldn't buy drugs off of a crackhead looking motherfucker with a gun. Exactly. Crackhead looking motherfucker. He's not a crackhead. Obviously he's making money. If he has a gun game, that means he's obviously certified enough to where he has to watch his back game. That means you getting good product. What is this about, gang? Bro, the more thugged out your plug look, the better yours are merch. I swear to God.
For the first few months in operation, the mainline takeover project was going precisely
Push up on me, sweet as hell. Bro, I'm not copping no more.
as planned. Timothy kept supplying his 18-year-old senior, and Neil would drive ounces to Lafayette and Gettysburg College to supply Chester and Stocky while also continuing their efforts to recruit more high school kids. Timothy and Neil were drooling at the opportunity on their hands, and they were already dreaming bigger. I don't know what you make in a week, but I want to make $2,000 if I do this. And there are still a lot of holes to fill because I have to grow my business. I'll be straight with you on how I flip it, and we can work out the numbers. I'll help you with whatever I can. 2,000 is definitely feasible. Like I said, I'm trying to start a business and I'm learning how to run this one well. Just have to find the right people and don't rush it. Everything has a way of falling into line. Yeah, the question is, can I find the right guy that can run that operation? And it turns out they found a ton more people that could do it. Timothy and Neil were getting really good at recruiting more people into their operation and expanding their network of sub-dealers. Timothy took a more good cop approach, offering to help dealers wherever they needed it while being ultra professional with his interactions. And by professional, I mean like legit business professional. He would visit various high schools in the main line, such as Lower Merion, Radnor, and Harriton, and woo high schoolers while wearing a full-blown suit and playing up the bling aspect of his trade. While showing these kids the large amounts of pot he had, he would convince them to join the operation by offering drugs on credit and being very relaxed with his enforcement. My mainline takeover project is coming together fast, and I'm telling all of my guys I never want their schools to be dry, cause I always got pissed as shit when I couldn't find Bud. This last week made me realize how much I love money. Yes, he would keep in close contact with his guys and make sure there was never a drought of drugs within his high schools, but he never did.
So he was that, really sit behind the line. He wasn't really caring. He was in it for the money part. He wasn't in it for the thrill.
Shoot any threats. Unlike Neil, this man took a way more aggressive approach, constantly pushing his guys to identify new customers and carrying a menacing tone when they didn't do what he
We're back. Chat.
wanted. You have $1,000 bounty on your head. I will find you. Piece of shit. Heard you ripped off more people on your campus. Between the nice guy and dickhead approach, the duo was quickly expanding into many more high schools and colleges. They tapped into 5 different high schools and 3 colleges while recruiting 9 total sub-dealers in the process. Not bad for being in business for only 4 months. With their now enlarged
Wow. Okay. Not bad at all. Wow.
network of drug dealing kids and more money coming in from offering different products like cocaine and ecstasy, the guys couldn't have been
I told you. I told you them white niggas love ecstasy, man. That's they drug. And if you tried it, you probably fuck with it too. Like, I've tried a lot of drugs in my life, except cocaine. I've never tried heroin. Um, never tried crack. Yeah, that's probably about it. Other than that, I think I probably took my. Oh, I haven't like took none of that hard shit like salvia and like all that shit that really have hit. Like, yeah, I've thrown back a couple of peas. I don't smoked a couple of saba lunch. You feel me? I done did that. I done been there, done that. You feel me? I've done it all. Trust. I get some but once to get fraud out my mind.
Happier with how things were going. When you were a senior at Haverford, did you ever think you could pull that? Only dreamed it. There is a much bigger market than just a pound at each of these schools. Conestoga alone is a couple a week. Neil and Timothy finally had a sense of accomplishment in their life. All of their hardships were in the past, and now all they could think about doing was tackling more schools, slinging more drugs, and growing the mainline takeover project as much as they could. This operation was everything they could have asked for. But in the blink of an eye, it all came crumbling down. It turns out that while the duo was actively growing their operation, the Montgomery County's narcotics enforcement team was actively building a case against them. In January 2014, less than 2 months after the genesis of the mainline takeover project, the NET was hot on their trail, piecing together their operation from the
These niggas don't know what they doing. I mean, I've seen it coming though, cause like you selling a high school's gang. It's about time to like schools realize or police realize that these kids are getting like way more drugs easier than usual, way more faster than usual, getting it having them way more constantly than usual. Feel me?
ground up. And it wasn't a hard one to piece together at all. You see, Timothy and Neil might have had a great education in the traditional sense, but they didn't grow up as drug dealers. Simply put, they had absolutely no fucking clue how to run a drug operation. Sure, they were recruiting sub-dealers fast and moving weight quickly, but they didn't think about protecting themselves at all. All of their sub-dealers used their personal cell phones to communicate, phones that were easy to track down by the NET after they received some anonymous tips. The team was able to pinpoint
Niggas ratting.
4 of the duo's sub-dealers and set up controlled drug buys to capture them. The first was a 17-year-old nicknamed MGM, who was known for flexing his shoe collection and posting about his drug dealing on Instagram. How dumb can you get? When MGM's controlled buy took place, he tried to save grace by launching his jars of weed out of his childhood bedroom, but the jars literally landed in the arms of a detective and he was arrested shortly after. The remaining 3 dealers were successfully caught too, and according to police, all of them admitted to dealing, sending incriminatory text messages, and would later snitch on Neil and Timothy. The NET now had more than enough information to confront the duo. Timothy was up first and was shell-shocked when detectives knocked on his childhood home and arrested him on February 28, 2014. Luckily for him, he
Look at him.
knocked on his childhood home and arrested him on
Look at him. Wow.
February 28, 2014. Luckily for him, he didn't really have much on him, just a pound of kush and $800. But Neil's bust was a different story. The detective seized about 8 pounds of marijuana.
I bet. What the? 8 pounds? Pounds. Pounds. 8.
23 grams of cocaine, 11
grams of cocaine.
grams of ecstasy, 3 grams of hash oil, and 11,000 in cash from Neil, along with
11,000. Yo, this nigga has to be the dumbest nigga I've ever met. When in a lifetime have we ever allowed drug dealers to walk around this much life? When has drug, bro, like he said, these niggas didn't grow, bro. The best drug dealers would be a nigga like me. Merch, nigga. If I started doing this shit, bro, I have this shit. Cause like the best drug dealers are niggas who are school smart, but also street smart at the same time. Like, you feel me? Them the best type of niggas to become a drug dealer, gang. Cause them niggas handling business, and you feel me? They know what they doing, gang. They not fucking goofy.
Books about massively successful drug rings.
During 2014, how much you want to bet them niggas is using iPhones out of everything?
Books that I would assume he never touched. After the dust had settled from their arrest, the NET finally had time to go through both the guys' cell phones, collecting a treasure trove of incriminating information from their text messages. They found communications about everything, from texts about meeting up with dealers, how much they were going to pay, all the different kinds of drugs they sold, and much more. Their cell phones revealed the entire scope of their business, and when April 21st, 2014 rolled around, it was finally time for them to face the music. On that
They wasn't listening to that Chief Keef? That 2012 Chief Keef? Telling them, bro, he was telling y'all how to do this shit, bro. Meek Mill? That was telling y'all how to do this shit, bro. Literally, what you think a trap phone is, Goofy?
spring afternoon, Timothy was the first to arrive at the courthouse in Ardmore, a mile east of Haverford High School. His partner showed up shortly after, looking much more pissed off.
Get the fuck out of my face. Fuck you.
Timothy, Neal, and 9 suspected subdealers, along with 2 juveniles, stood in front of the judge on counts much more severe than dealing pot. They were charged with manufacturing and delivering controlled substances, criminal conspiracy, and dealing in a corrupt organization, among other drug-related charges. And the community of Haverford was dumbfounded. The duo's parents were in no rush to talk to anyone, with both families slamming their front doors in the face of reporters as a clear sign. Some people in their lives, however, were more open to speaking. It's crushing to me. These guys are not too far removed from the program. I feel bad for their families. It's a sad day. It's the ultimate backstab. We couldn't have done more for this kid, and it was thrown back in our face. Buried at the core of this scandal, the Haverford
have done more for him. Y'all, well, who are we talking about? Cause I really like, I do believe that old dude, the first one, the one that was professional, I feel like he generally was like, damn, like he really just was in it, for the money. But you could tell the other nigga gang, he generally wanted to control some shit, bro. And it's like, wow. But like, fail who though? Cause like I was saying, gang, cause the first nigga, yeah, or that's a backstab. Yeah, he did that. Y'all let me out of school, and then he come back and do this, blah blah blah, right? But the second nigga, merge. If that nigga never would have fucked up his shoulder, I bet he would have went professional lacrosse.
School tried to remain quiet. They instructed staff to stay silent and would postpone interviews left, right, and center to avoid speaking up about the situation. But it seemed like they were saving their statement for the graduating class of 2014. I'll briefly just touch on the subject that's been the subject of more media than I could ever imagine. And I'll declare from this stage and from any pulpit that I can get that the Haverford School will not be defined by the bad decisions of a few people. We as a community, all the faculty, all the parents, all the students will not let that happen. We will fight to continue to earn our well-deserved outstanding reputation as an extraordinary school with remarkable boys. The scandal that rocked Haverford wasn't just about drugs.
Merch. I would never put my son in an all boys school, getting that shit. Hey, my nigga can't see no bitches. You telling me he walk around looking at me? Now my son come home one day, talk about dad, I don't think I'm gay, I'm gonna be mad as hell. The fuck? My nigga, bro, like, I can't. If you put your kid in a all gender school, gang, it can either do two things. Well, it can either do two things: make your kid gay, or make your kid overly straight. Right? But I feel like overly straight, it's probably just for girls, because I feel like girls will see how annoying other girls are probably on, and then they'll be like, damn, how I hate to date a girl.
It was about the stunning contrast between the privilege and promise of the duo and the choices they made. As one of Timothy's friends told the Washington Post, this is a huge story because of the prestige of the schools involved. It's the uniqueness of the perpetrators. You see, these weren't
Merch. If it was two black kids, they would have not have gone this deep. Merch. If it was two black kids, they would have done worse. It would have never been on the media as much as it is. Merch. If it was two black kids, they would probably been like two black kids arrested discussing drugs at school and would have left it at fucking that.
Kids who just grew up on the streets with nothing to lose. These were kids from affluent families in affluent neighborhoods who were given access to one of the best educations in the country. And that's what makes this story so interesting. Neil and Timothy had every advantage in life: supportive families, access to elite schooling, a head start most people would dream of. And yet they threw it all away. Instead of
Yeah. But once again, like I said, bro, my nigga right here would have never fucked up his shoulder. High chance he would have went D1 game. Look at him, strong neck ass, bro. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this nigga shit.
leveraging their education to follow traditional paths to success, they chose to take a detour into drug dealing, believing they could build a Pablo Escobar-level drug ring. But it wasn't their ambition that led to their downfall. It was their profound miscalculation, thinking that they could blend their privileged upbringing with the reckless world of drug dealing, without realizing they were wholly unprepared for what they were getting into, and the repercussions of their actions spoke to that. A little while
Again, I feel like that shit get deep. Like, everything is deeper. One mistake is 100 times worse.
later, in October of the same year, Timothy and Neil pled guilty to all of their charges, and their final court appearance later that month would be the day they finally got sentenced. But it ended up not being so bad for one of them. That day was a lot different than their initial appearance in April. While the scandal was still piping hot back then, it had cooled down a lot at this point, with barely any reporters covering the sentencing. What seemed to have taken their place was family. Timothy's family, to be exact, who were all there in support. And it wasn't just his father, mother, and brother. It was everyone in his life. His therapist, his boss, his Alcoholics Anonymous sponsor. Around 50 people
AA sponsor was there.
Came out to support and speak on behalf of the 19-year-old defendant, and their touching stories really resonated with the judge. Timothy was given a very light sentence for his crimes, only 9 to 23 months in county jail and 5 years probation. Like Neil, who had nowhere near the same support and received 5 to 15 years in state prison. And better yet, Timothy finally didn't take his lucky situation for granted. While being in jail for 7.5 months, surrounded by more drug use than ever, he got completely sober by sticking with healthy habits like working, exercising, writing letters, and maintaining contact with his extensive support system. An impressive feat, considering he had been drinking and doing drugs since he was 14. Upon his release, he was accepted into a new college, a school called Cabrini, where he made the lacrosse team and even won a D3 national championship. After graduating in 2019, he founded Synergy Houses, 2 sober living homes for men, and regularly speaks about his story of dealing drugs and his path to sobriety to this day. Neil, on the other hand, is likely still serving his lengthy prison sentence, as there's been no info publicly released suggesting otherwise.
Hey guys.
In 2013,
there are drug rings at public school all the time, but it's considered normal and it doesn't grab headlines like this. And that's exactly why, again, because it's public school again, they give a fuck. Everything happens in public school. And merch, your average public school drug dealer is probably black, so the media doesn't really give a fuck. Merch, I'm standing on it. It's not normal. Guys just don't become the depends on the demand. Merch, if you have a high supply demand, you could probably just shoot up to become a kingpin. This isn't normal. Have you been to high school? Yeah, this nigga's dumb as shit. Selling with the high schoolers, let them know having a deal is your first mistake. Merch, nah, fuck selling, but merch, letting them deal for you, man. Merch, you fucked up, right? Good video by DC Productions, right? Good video. The kids who running. Hey, bro, I do feel bad for old dude who got 5 to 15, while this nigga got 9 to 23 months. Wow. But yeah, Chuck. So that's all I have for y'all today. Remember, like